Welcome to another episode of the Terry and Frank Show that I'm sure you've been enjoying. We're enjoying it too, right, Terry? These have been great.
Absolutely.
So if you haven't joined us before, we thank you for coming. I'm Frank Wander. I'm the founder and CEO of People Productive. We're a company that helps organizations get the best out of their people by most effectively using the talent and energy, time, talent, energy of their folks. Tara?
Hello, and I'm Terry Mays. I'm a certified culture engineer with focus on helping companies bring out the best in their people.
Well, we have another really good episode for you today. And I do hope that you're going to subscribe, smack that bell, join us every week. As you know, we always have a surprise. We don't tell you exactly what we're going to be covering, but we go over what science says you should be doing. What are the things that you should know that you should have been taught in school or what you should have been taught in leadership class that would enable you to be an incredible leader of people? So today we're going to talk about expectations. So let's talk a little bit about this book that came out in the late 60s, because it's really very relevant. And I'm going to go right over here. Here's the book. I have it upstairs, actually. This is called Pygmalion in the Classroom. And in 1968, Robert Rosenthal, who was from Harvard University, went to Lenore Jacobson at a Los Angeles elementary school and asked her if she would participate in an experiment to see if the teachers' expectations of the kids changed their performance. So here's the setup. You can go read this. It's very famous, and it's been repeated quite a few times with adult classes in the Air Force and others, and the results are really the same. They took all the teachers, gave all the kids that were coming into school tests to look at their IQ and aptitude and intelligence. And then they ignored the results, randomly selected 20% of the kids. And when the school year started, they went to the teachers and said, here are 20% of your class. They're gifted. These are very talented kids, which was all nonsense because they didn't use the real results. But the teachers believed that these were their gifted students. And when they went back to test the kids later in the year, at the end of the year, I don't remember exactly when it was, that group, that 20% that had been told they were the best, performed the best on these tests. And amazingly, it was all about the expectations of the teachers.
Yes.
So, Claire, let's talk about this because we've experienced this in life.
Absolutely. This is a real thing. People will rise or fall to your expectations. So whatever you are expecting or you think about a person, it dictates how you respond to that person. So if you think that they can't do something, then you treat them a little bit differently than you do if you think that they can. And all of that impacts how that person responds back to you. So if you expect if you have the lowest expectations of a person, then that person will meet that low expectation. Oftentimes, if you have a high expectation for a person, then that person wants to please and they want to meet your expectation. And so many times they'll exceed your expectations because they want to do a good job. And that is so relevant in the workplace when you have people on your teams that you make sure you spend time praising them, that you give them kudos and thank yous and really build them up instead of tearing them down, not looking for every little thing that they do wrong, but always looking to catch people doing something good.
Yeah, this is so relevant for work, but it's even more relevant for life. You run
Absolutely.
into so many people. You may have kids, you may have a spouse, whatever your situation is, you are setting expectations for people all the time. People feel your expectations. Now, interestingly, none of these teachers ever said to the other kids, you're not as qualified as this group. At least they don't believe they did. That certainly wasn't part of the experiment. It was everything that was really kind of unsaid, unwritten. It was a vibe. It's how they reacted to the person, maybe the warmth as they approached them, saying, oh, this is one of my best students. You know, their vibe was a little bit different. People pick up your vibe, that smile, your body language, a little more open, some more encouraging words. It happened, and it's been repeated. This stuff is reality. You would not believe the potential people have locked inside them, that is remains untapped because we live in a world where people don't get the best out of others. We live in a society where, society isn't geared to train people and educate them to get the best from others. Leaders don't know how to do it. You could be a better leader just by using this as a tool. This is a very powerful tool. Try to think about how you're coming across, the vibe you're setting, the level of warmth. We've gone over in other episodes, warmth, where what people want from the leaders more than anything is warmth. It's all in the vibe and the body language. So you've got to think about this stuff is real. It really matters.
It really does. And you can think back to times when people had very high expectations or they gave you compliments. It kind of makes you stand a little taller when people say, you're really good at this, or you do a great job with something, or you look very pretty today. Even those things, anything, any kind of compliment or self-esteem booster, all of those things really play into how people respond at work, at home, wherever you are.
Yeah, it is so vitally important. And I think that, I've read so many stories of people who had a bad expectation of a teammate. I was reading about a football team where two players got together and somehow expectations had been set that they weren't going to like each other. And it turned out that they had real issues between them until one day they got to know each other and found out they had so much in common. They ended up developing a great relationship. But somebody had soured their expectations about the other person. And in fact, it happened. So, when you're, bringing a new person on and introducing them to the team, make sure you set the expectations of the team very highly for that individual, right? That, wow, this is a great person. Talk about their background. It's great for onboarding. It's great for people joining a team from inside the company, wherever they're coming from. Expectations should always be high so that people give their best. Then they feel better about themselves. And this is nurturing. You want to nurture everyone around you in one way or another so that they're all growing because you want the people and company to flourish together. That's what this is really all about. That's the world we must create, where people in the companies they work for flourish together so everybody wins. And it can happen when people's talent and potential is unlocked.
Yes, absolutely. This goes back to with that sense of belonging. So as you praise people and make them feel more comfortable and welcomed, you tell them how good they are. You talk about all of their good qualities and high points of the things that they do. All of that plays into a person's sense of belonging. So you want to build that up as much as you possibly can.
Yeah, totally. See, my watch is going off and I just, let me turn this down. Why is that not going down? Okay, there it is. There's a feature I hadn't used. Okay. Anyway, it is vitally important. As a leader, you are going to raise your people up or you're going to pull them down. You may not even be doing it consciously. And you need to be very conscious about this. You need to understand what you think of everybody. You need to get to know them. You need to learn the best about them. Like Terri said, you got to find them doing great things, recognize them for it, build them up, set those expectations that they grow and strive to be better than they are right now. And you can do it. There's no question.
Yeah. And the more you have positive and high expectations for people, the more they want to meet them. The more they feel like, well, they see something in me that maybe I don't even see in myself. And that builds their confidence. I know it always makes me stand a little taller when somebody gives me a compliment. So make sure you're doing that on your
Sure
team
does.
and helping people to see things that they may not even see in themselves. They may not think that it's a big deal, and it may not be a big deal in the grand scheme of things, but always make sure you point out even the smallest things, because sometimes it's those little things that make the biggest differences.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so interesting that, they talk about all these people are quitting their jobs, especially the millennials and Gen Zs. They're not finding that emotional satisfaction in the workplace. And there are many, many reasons, but this is one of them. The expectations aren't being set high. They're not growing. They want to grow and they can grow themselves and be motivated to learn and do more. So this is a tool to keep your people. When people meet higher expectations, they start feeling better about the place, everybody around them, like Terri said, belonging. Make sure you catch that series on belonging for everyone. It's a great series. Every leader should watch that. Also watch People Unproductive. Maybe you can find some things you're doing in there that maybe you shouldn't be.
Yes, yes. These series all work together, and it's all about building a healthier culture for your workplace so that the place where you're working is a place where people can thrive, where they feel like the managers care about them as an
Mhm.
individual. It's not just about the tasks that need to be done, but people genuinely care. They build healthy work relationships as well as friendships.
Mhm.
You want people to have friends at work and feel like you're part of a team that's working together, where your teammates
Yes.
have your back, where you feel like you can depend on your team members to do their
Mhm.
part and you're not having to do your part and theirs. All of those things are really great keys to success in having a healthy team.
Create the workplace you want to be in. These are things that you can learn and you can do them consciously. It's no different than going to a golf course and practicing your golf swing and getting better at it. You can improve this. These are competencies. You can actually become skilled at all of these things, and it's up to you. Nobody is going to jam your head full of this stuff and practice for you. You've got to do it. It is totally, totally up to you. So please share the video, subscribe. Let's build a better world together, right, Terry?
Yes, absolutely. We all
And
have a part to play in it. And so let's do our part.
yeah, so I thank you for coming. And Terry, you have anything you want to say, final words to our guests here?
Final words of wisdom, I would say just make sure you're expecting the best out of people. The world is full of enough mean people and people that are just living lower than their capabilities. So make sure you're expecting the best out of people and requiring that they give you the best. And you do that through your responses to them and how you treat them. All of that plays into how they respond back to you.
Mhm.
So you really do get what you give. So make sure that you're giving out the very best of yourself to other people so that they in turn give out the best
Mhm.
of themselves to you.
So expect the best and get it. Feel free to look up Pygmalion in the Classroom online. You'll see tons of research on this. It's an interesting subject to dig into. Hey, we
Yes.
thank you for coming. We have a great episode next time. Trust me, you're going to like it. And we look forward to seeing you there. Till then, all the best.